And because of that is one of the reasons I continue to do what I do. People in the post-COVID world are so without hope at so many levels. It's, why does it have to be cold business? I need this, blah, 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 business language is cold. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. It's like, hey, this is where I'm at, bro. It's make or break if we can hey, this is where I'm at. I'm stepping into the world, bro. Here, this is help. Oh my gosh, dude, you just saved my job. I can work my guys this week. Thank you so much. That's the business I want to be in.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a 988 number on the wall. I don't know. And I'm like, hey, it's cool, man. I'm not here to boss you around. Let's work side by side.
Let's knock it out. Yeah, absolutely.
And I earn respect that way, not in a
for sure. So
unkind way.
Sure.
So we're looking at 20 plus.
I love that you're keeping it so.
I know,
bro. I'm trying hard right here.
Not
I work with contractors every day, and it's like,
not in an
what
unkind
the
way.
blank did just happen?
Come back for the unabridged version. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Cam and Joe Show. How you doing this morning, Big Dog?
Good, my man.
Happy Friday. It's finally raining. I think this is the first rain we've had all month, and sure enough, it waited for the last day.
Yeah, no, I'm always just like, it's winter still?
Right?
Other than the frost on my car, I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No.
California winters are
1000%.
way tame.
I was having to spray it down the other day. My son was like, did it snow? I'm like, no, buddy, it didn't snow. We were like out there like scraping it. I'm like, this is so dumb.
Yeah, no, my kids were going over to the grass, putting it in a pile. Look, snowball. And I'm like, don't put that down your brother's shirt.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So
you want to introduce our guest?
I want to introduce our guest. So
I've heard that you may know him.
Well, you know what's funny? And when people are going to look at the thumbnail, if I'm on one side and he's on the other, it's going to look like the same person.
Yep.
We're constantly people are like, oh, they're the same. I'm here
with this help. Here we go.
There you go. Hey,
There you go.
Clark Kent meet Superman.
What?
I'm here.
What just happened?
So I'm super honored to have my brother James in here. James Steele. He works with CFM. He's a regional district sales manager, right?
Territory manager.
Territory manager. Yeah. So I did the wrong words.
It's all good.
And
from the top. No, I'm kidding.
Nah, right? So tell us, man. Tell us about what you do, man.
So I am a liaison kind of guy. Some people call me a salesman. I call myself a problem solver.
Yeah.
So I work on behalf of CFM Equipment, which sells HVAC equipment, solar products, different things like that. And I work with contractors to make sure that they can get the equipment that they need, price right, competitively for jobs, things like that, and work with them on behalf of the company. And I cover an area from around here up to Oroville, Chico, and then straight west to the coast. So I've got a section I-5.
Nice. That's crazy.
Lake County, Clear Lake, Ukiah, and then Fort Bragg. It's really terrible to have to drive up there and stay,
You're like, oh, man.
to work.
It's awful. Foster's Creek again. Oh,
yeah,
man.
it's hard. I work with a dozen other territory managers. We have the majority of California and some of Nevada, and I tell them all, I'm like, I have the best territory. I mean, just the driving I got to do, and we call it windshield time in our area. I have a lot of it. It's therapeutic, man. It's great. Yeah. It's great. So it has the perks, but that's roughly what I do. And so meeting people, figuring out what their needs are, figuring out what their customers need, and it's a good fit.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is all of your, are you ever like direct to consumer, or are you kind of the middleman between the business per se that is needing the work?
I'm just gonna clarify. It's HVAC heat, right? HVAC systems, because we haven't mentioned it yet. So whoever's listening to it's gonna be like, what is he selling? CFM sells HVAC systems, solar panels, pretty much electrical heating and air, right?
Yeah. Yep, heating and air conditioning, which is, a comfort system, or actually what do they call it? A essential service.
Yeah.
That's how important it is in California, the United States of America, to be warm and to be cold and all that.
It's a perk for sure.
To answer your question, Cam, I work with licensed contractors.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're not going to Margaret's front door, chatting it up with her about her solar per se. You are okay.
Now, I work with the guys that do that.
There you go.
And in some cases, the guys I work with that are partners with us. If they need to do a site visit, I thoroughly enjoy doing that to help support them if that's where they need,
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
it is.
So, I mean, there's been so much shifting and changing
Oh my gosh.
in the HVAC systems.
What?
I know. Well, you did construction, so I'll talk about you a little bit. So you did construction for how many years?
Oh, I thought you were going to list my traits. I was getting ready to say me, also me. No, I'm sorry. We've grown up in church circles, and at 13, being homeschooled, started doing part-time construction in school. So, which led to a foreman position fresh out of high school at 18. So you've been in building ground up houses since then. Yeah.
So
4 men at 18 is insane.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely crazy.
That's what the 40-year-olds on the job said when there's no family-friendly way I'm going to listen to this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, hey, it's cool, man. I'm not here to boss you around. Let's work side by side.
Let's knock it out. Yeah, absolutely.
And I earn respect that way, not in a
for sure. So
unkind way.
Sure.
So we're looking at 20 plus.
I love that you're keeping it so.
I know,
bro. I'm trying hard right here. I work with contractors every day, and it's like,
not in an
what
unkind
the
way.
blank did just happen?
Come back for the unabridged version.
I'm gonna start doing this.
Unkind way. Yeah. We're just gonna censor him.
If you can't see your mouth, does it count? Right?
No. That's right.
So it's amazing. So, anyways, I say that in the idea 20 plus 20, 30. I want to say about 30 years.
Bro, I feel really old in this moment, but I guess so.
Yeah. So we're going to say 20 plus so that you feel younger, leaning into the 30 of experience in construction. And through that time, I mean, you've seen a lot of regulations change, especially in California. Oh, no, that plug needs to be 1 inch higher. Oh, no, that plumbing can't, it has to change this mount or this thing. In HVAC, has there been anything like any struggles with anything like that that's just like, oh my gosh, this is just
I feel like you're provoking me to remove my family-friendly barriers.
You do what you need to do.
Well, no, I think about it. If you're a general public person, you're listening to this, you've got a home or you're renting and they're like, hey, there's a new HVAC system we got to put in. Oh, but there's new X regulations and there's new things. I think it's important for people to know so that way they're not getting shanked later on going, who put that in position? And chances are high we're going to go, oh, is that guy we call a governor? He did that.
Yeah.
You got a couple questions in there. I'll try and answer them as briefly as possible.
Yeah, do your thing.
So
we got time.
In 30 years, 20 plus years of construction.
Bring it down, Joe.
Yeah. We started when I was, framing. It was acceptable to go into the county with a handwritten set of prints for your home. And if it met the certain criterion they were looking for, you were approved a permit to build your house that way. That is so far and removed that we're not there. Now, to speak to HVAC specifically, most of the things involved that have been changing in regard to energy efficiency.
I was just going to say that.
And in some ways, it's kind of good because until PG&E and these power company, utility companies have some kind of regulation.
I just heard like 3 expletives in between.
Yeah.
All of those.
We can add those. We can add those.
The reel through my mind is Boondock Saints, and the guy behind the bar has just got Tourette's. He's like, it's like, code violation. But
that may be our first Boondock Saints reference on the show.
I'm okay with it, though.
I'm so okay with.
Hats off, Paulie.
That's right.
Irish. So, it is what people don't understand is if they install a minimum required energy efficient system versus something that is more of a variable speed, not only does it make their home more comfortable, the energy efficiency, they'll see a larger return on their investment quickly because not only are they comfortable, but their power bill is way less. The best way to explain this to someone who has zero grid for construction or HVAC is like a vehicle.
Yeah.
Do you want to go buy a cheap car that gets 18 miles to the gallon? Or do you want to buy a car that is 50% more that gets 38 miles to the gallon?
Yeah.
There's a significant savings up front, sure, one way or the other. But at some point, depending on how much driving, depending on what you're doing, it's going to pay for itself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I drive a Toyota Camry. I bought that car specifically for the efficiency of that vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, I also have an old Chevy truck that I love to death. And, you know, if I'm out there working, it's 9 and you go, I really love you, but you hurt me when I drive you, right? To each their own. So, so my advice to consumers would be, if you're going to put a system in your home, you really need to ask them, what does the annual cost of running this system, or what would I expect to see savings energy-wise with what you're proposing I put in versus what I have now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a myriad of rebate and credit, tax credit programs, all of which are extremely in limbo right now, which is what it is.
Sure.
That incentivize these efficiencies, and whether they stay or not is irrelevant to our business because people want to be comfortable.
Sure.
So,
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude. I mean, okay. The only person I know that sets the temperature actually at 72 in their house that I know personally is our brother John. When it's summertime hits and at 110, he's like, dude, I got an HVAC. My brother John is the president of CFM. So bringing him up is relevant in this conversation. He's the only person I know that keeps it at 72. I know some people are like, I got to save some money, so I'm going to have it at like 76 or 77. Some people are like, oh, no, I can't go below 74. It's like, you've all overbid.
Yeah, truly.
well, case in point, he has a nice variable speed system on his home that it's like cruise control.
Yeah.
Once you're up to speed, you're getting that great fuel economy.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if you're driving really far, right? And so in the summer, when your house already has an ambient temperature.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for those who don't know what that is, if you get in your car in the morning like I did this morning and it's really cold.
Oh, yeah.
You can run your heater for 15 minutes and it
feel
still feels wild till the area gets conditioned to where and it's the same with your house. If you set your thermostat back.
Yep.
It won't. It takes so long to catch up. You don't feel the comfort for a while, you know. So him running his air conditioner through the summers because he has a very nice variable speed system to where it's on cruise control, and guys like us are like, I can't afford to run it another hour, and he's like, mine's just idling, bro.
Yeah, it's just kicking.
The inside of his house is conditioned, and it's easier to stay that way. So.
But like, what's your house temperature during the summertime?
Mine?
Yeah. What do you keep yours at?
Dude, I run so hot, man. Hannah runs super cold, so Hannah's like part lizard. I swear to God, I'm gonna say this on the show, and she'll probably murder me for it. Hannah, in the middle of summer, will sleep on a heating pad, like a lizard woman.
That's amazing.
Married a lizard woman. I love you, but you're a gizard woman. I'm gonna get murdered. This is gonna be my last show. This is gonna be the Joe and Joe show.
I'm gonna cut this. Actually, Joe and James, and then Then social media won't know who's who.
You got this, man.
I just want to give you a nod. It is Boundary Day, bro.
It is Boundary Day.
Well played.
Cheers to Boundary Day. Yeah, we cruise probably right there. If it's 90 to 100 out, we'll probably, mind you, it's 1,500 square feet, 3.2, so not terrible to keep it at 72 to.
Is that where you hit it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm weird. We hit it like 76.
76?
76.
Oh, yeah. No, you could bake cookies at 76, man. That's just not okay.
I'd love to see you bake cookies at 76.
It's a little doughy.
Just don't hand it to me. It's called salmonella.
76 ain't it, man.
Oh, my gosh.
You need to get your act together.
You know what? One day I'll do better.
Yeah.
So your busy season, I'm guessing, is, hey, I would guess.
Middle of winter, middle of summer.
It's right as soon as summer hits and people go, crap, my HVAC system isn't working. Yeah. Or, hey, winter hits, we have our first storm and it's, crap, my heater broke.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's probably your busiest season?
Right now is pretty busy for the role that I'm in. It's, effectively communicating with our partners of the changes that are coming. one of the things we're undergoing currently is a refrigerant change.
The actual refrigerant itself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. The refrigerant has to be changed due to the global warming potential of the refrigerant.
That's a loaded. That is a loaded sentence.
I thought you said we're not talking politics.
I'm not talking politics. I'm just saying that's
censor everything.
I'm just saying that's a loaded sentence. That's all I'm saying.
It's a pretty and for contractors who, the salt of the earth people, I really love my job because contractors, they get it. They go out and work hard every day for their families and the people that are in their employ. And the frustrations of the things they have to jump through is frustrating. So a refrigerant change isn't just a matter of, that's got different stuff in it. The tools they use now it have to be different because they had to alter the refrigerant to meet the demands. So it has got.
And then once you clear the current refrigerant, you have to treat it like nuclear waste and take it to some kind of crazy California-specific
there's a
hazmat.
Lot. There's a lot to it.
You bring a DeLorean up to it.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I wonder if I could get a company vehicle. The stainless steel construction is perfect.
Where we're going, we don't need waste.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I don't know.
It's awesome.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. So, okay, so let's say I'm a contractor and I'm like, hey, I've heard about CFM. I totally want to hook it up. And you're in my area and I reach out to you. And I'm like, cool, hey, CFM's like, you're going to call James Steele. I call you up. Tell me the process. If I'm coming in and I'm like, hey, I'm new to this, or it's just me and my son working and I want to grow this thing, but I don't, I'm figuring out the industry. What would you be doing in that regard?
I have had the pleasure of working with guys in that exact position.
Nice.
Several times since I've been in this role. And they're some of my favorite customers, no disrespect to my larger partners and guys out there, but the hunger for wanting advice and wanting to point in the right direction is great. We thrive on that. So if you are I cannot sell equipment to someone not a licensed contractor in the state of California. We have our legalities we have to do as well. So if you are a licensed contractor in our area, chances are I know who you are because I do my due diligence to reach out to people. And I haven't everybody, obviously, but I would say reach out to me and let me help you. Go through the process, know what you need to do, where you want to go with your business. It's such a large business. There's so many aspects from commercial, residential replacement, residential new construction, multifamily projects, new construction, multifamily retrofit, refrigeration, service work. All these things, they require different support levels, different types of things that they need, and different types of things. Yeah. And so once we can identify the direction they would want to go and what they need, I'd point them as, it is a sales position that I'm in, and part of the partnership is, hey, I'm going to do my best to point you in the right direction and make you profitable.
Love it.
And in return of that is like, this is the services and the equipment we offer, and in return, be a little bit loyal, buy some things from me, and in return, I'm reciprocating helping you. Yeah. And as you grow, I grow. That's kind of the way it works.
Yeah.
So I would say reach out to CFM Equipment. Say, hey, I'm looking to grow my business. I heard a guy on a show. Can you point me to the James guy up in my area? And if you're out of area, call anyway. We have great other managers that'd be happy to work with you.
Yeah.
And so, and as we work with them, there's no requirement of like, hey, you're not buying enough and we'll talk to you. Man, we're not like that. We're super.
It's a symbiotic relationship. You're helping them grow and helping them get, because the more product they get and the quicker they are at it, the more you return on the back end of it.
Correct.
So you guys are I don't know, more people are probably familiar with Cisco.
Yeah.
Cisco for restaurants.
Yeah.
I have a couple friends that work there. It's the same thing. It's, hey, we're coming in, we're gonna set you up, we're gonna help you estimate the flow of how much you're gonna have, hopefully help you with some marketing stuff maybe. Hey, you're using this product, what kind of meals you're putting together with your brand, or how you're going about it. Imagine that being the exact same way.
Very a lot of similarities, yeah. So if you're a smaller business, awesome, man. Reach out. We'll help get you dialed in on things you need, and it's hard for me even in this moment to put my phone down, and I text a few of my favorite customers, if you're listening, hey, I'm going to be on a show for a minute. I'm out of touch, you know?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So
The connectivity side to a client, like we were mentioning even before we started rolling, is like a role that God has absolutely laid out for you, because your personality is just so perfect for that. So how do you guys, so I'm thinking of the Hammond Electrics of the world, the Burger Heating and Airs, so on and so forth. Are those competitors, or are those companies that you come alongside of to help them get product for install?
There is a lot of contractors in this area.
Yeah.
And so as much as competitor is a word,
Sure.
the industry is so large that there's really a seat at the table for everyone. And bridges that are built end up creating networks that flow. So even if there's other businesses that sell brands that I don't, we sell American Standard and Mitsubishi and Bosch, our main lines. If there's other companies that don't sell that, there's still open communication. We sell other things as well. And sometimes they're looking for solutions that they don't have in their repertoire.
Sure.
Cool.
And with those relationships, we can do business to some degree. And so, because you never know what the future holds.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I walk into an office, say, hey, how's it going, so-and-so? How are things going? And it's like, terrible. I had to throw the last guy out because they lie to me. They're disrespectful. Our orders are late. All these, yada, yada. And everybody has their own experiences. But to just go, hey, listen, I can't make decisions for you, but these things don't seem okay to me. Have you thought about these options? If you are, let me know. We're happy to work with you, Yeah. One thing I love about CFM is we like to call ourselves one of the last of the mom and pops. A lot of these big companies around that sell these things are mostly corporate.
Yeah.
And we're not.
Yeah.
And because of that, our motto is helping our employees and customers succeed. So what can we do that helps me succeed? What can I do that helps my employees or my customers succeed? And then I get a little leeway to do that. In defense of my competitor reps, a lot of the times, as much as they want to help someone, their hands are completely tied because of bureaucracy of corporations. They're like, oh man, I'm sorry that system created an issue for you. Well, fill these forms out, bro. We'll see if we can kick you a little, but probably not. And it's like, dang it. And I'm like, dude, that stinks. I'm going to talk to my manager. I'm going to see what we can do to really step towards you and figure out how to make this right. And so in that part, it's great because I have tools given to me to be able to really build relationships and help guys, especially the guys who's working with their kid. They can't take a couple $1,000 hit because of something.
Yeah.
They can't do that, And so it's like, hey, I understand it's a hardship. Let's figure this out. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, we can figure everything out and everything's going to be perfect. No. But what they do get is a voice, and they do get fairness. And, what more can you ask in the world we live today?
No, for sure.
In business, that's everything, man.
Yeah.
That's everything. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially, I'm seeing it come back to form a lot more with people kind of pulling back from the corporate mindset structure. We've had tons of people. I'll just use coffee because that's what I can use to relate to this. Dude, a huge percentage of our regular sales are people coming in going, yeah, we're driving through, we just Googled coffee and you guys popped up. Like, cool. And we've had people from Germany, from France, from Africa, I had a farmer from Guatemala come and have Guatemalan coffee.
He's like, tastes like home. You're like, whoa.
Yeah.
What?
He actually said that. And it was terrifying because, imagine if, you go to this, you're like, I make good biscuits and gravy. And you go to the South, they're like, no, we make good biscuits and gravy. Yeah. And then you make bad biscuits and gravy, and they're like, that's garbage, boy. Yeah. 10 pounds of lard, that'll be better.
So to have somebody from Guatemala enjoying coffee, complimenting it.
Correct.
Yes.
It's one of those okay.
I could die right now.
And you're like, oh, God, we did it. But yeah, a lot of it.
All the affirmation you'd ever want.
Bro, in a language that I don't speak.
In a language you don't speak.
Awesome. No, but I think it's the same thing. I'm seeing it more. Even with friends, talking with people, they're like, yeah, I'm tired. Even friends that used to go to Target a lot more, or Walmart a lot more, or Costco a lot more. They're going, yeah, I'm tired of getting the same. I went down the spot. There's a really cool little store, and I was just like, cool.
I love it. I think a lot of it is like you speaking to the coffee side. I'll speak to the lending side. I think COVID did a lot. I mean, COVID did a ton of damage for small business. We all know that.
Sure.
But coming out of COVID and coming out of that, we can't meet face to face. It's got to be Zoom, which is what took over all of mortgage and lending and real estate in general for all those years. Now people, when you give them the opportunity to meet, they're like, we can meet? I'm like, yes. Would you like, yeah, I'll make you a cup of coffee. Come on down. Because right now, so many people coming out of the last 4 or 5 years, it's all email. It's all phone call. Everything's digitized.
Yeah.
I have a meeting at 11 a.m. with a gentleman who's currently in escrow with Rocket Mortgage, and he's hating his experience because he can never reach out to the same person again.
Yep, exactly.
And he's like, my buddy told me to call you first off, and I should have, and we got our offer accepted, and they're not returning my calls. When can we meet? I was like, tomorrow. He's like, oh, really? I was like, yeah. Come on down, man. I'm right next to DMV, so I'm meeting with him today.
That's amazing.
So to come out of COVID how we did, when everything is no, everything you can't be close, you can't touch, you can't shake a hand.
Fix
That is a perk of having a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And to bring back customer service, right? In general, if we can in our own crafts in HVAC and coffee and lending, if we can get back to 2018 mode, 2019 mode, and bring customer service back into the fold.
Yeah.
And not just like I've heard it said, and I love this. They're like, Cam, your business is more hug than it is handshake. And I was like, that is a huge compliment, because if all we ever are is just the next guy quoting numbers, that's all you'll ever be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Well, and especially if you're in a community, and that's why, you're talking about territories. How many times have you probably, and I'm guessing, gone to a spot and that person's, I'm with so-and-so, and you're like, okay, well, hey, what are you doing? Can I talk with you? Just talk. We don't have to sell anything. Let's just talk. I'm a person. You're a person. We'll just give you some basic stuff. And then who knows, 2 years, 3 years, however long it takes, we'll come back to that. Have you had experiences like that?
On the regular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And usually my response is, in most cases, unless it's certain brands that will go unnamed for the purposes of the show, is I'll say, I've heard great things about your product. You know what I mean? There's, like I was saying earlier, there's so many seats at the table here.
Yeah.
You don't have to beat people down to excel in business. You just, like you're saying, the hug part, they don't, once they get a hug from that, in whatever sense of the term we want to make that.
Sure.
Then
like
they
that.
go
More proverbial than anything.
then they're like, I'm kind of done with these handshakes that really I don't have confidence in, know, and that's a niche.
Yeah.
So the reality is, we're people, we're relational, and something that I carry with me every day is you have no idea what another person is going through.
Yeah.
Whether in their business or in their personal life. And a lot of people who are cold and shut down is because they're just trying to function and keep their day-to-day going in spite of the season that they're in. And just a little bit of compassion goes so long. And I can speak to that because I've been on the reciprocating. Where I'll have a rough day, and everybody has them, right? And it's like at the same time I've got things and I have to do, and you roll into a place trying to just go, hey, I'm going to try and be a positive person today in spite of how I feel. And somebody goes, hey, I really appreciate the way that you this, and that little bit of warmth, you go, oh my gosh, I needed that so bad. You don't.
Yep.
And once you you feel that, and you go, I can actually be someone that sells hope to people. The hug thing, that's what they want.
Yeah.
And so, and honestly, when you do that, it's not work.
No.
1000%.
It's like, hey, Bill, how's your day, bro?
Yeah.
Like, last we talked, you seemed kind of stressed. I'd be like, can I take my hat off, contractor hat off for a minute? Yeah, man. Here's my sales hat. I'm taking it off. What's up?
Yeah, and having real
and
moments.
it's not fake. It's not forced. It's not like, hey, I'm going to figure out how to manipulate you to get you to do what I want. It's just like, hey, dude, I walked in a guy's office. We had a meeting set up and all kind of things. And he looks down at his phone. His face goes pale.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, hey, man, are you okay? He's like, oh, my daughter was just in a car wreck. I'm like, dude, I am so sorry that happened, and I said, hey, don't worry about this, dude. It doesn't even matter. Don't worry about it. This all buff out. Is there anything I could do? I'm a man of faith. Could I say a quick prayer for you?
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't even know me. You're going to pray for me? I'm like, only if you want. He's like, anything right now. I don't know. And it's just, not some religious whatever. It's just that people feel the empathy. It's like, hey, maybe today there's a God that said you needed someone to be here in this moment when this happened.
Yeah.
And that's what this is for. So, dude, if we never do business on this, don't worry about it.
Sure.
This is important. And then, how fulfilling is that in your role to be able to do that?
Yeah.
And then have management over me that agrees with that type of behavior,
Yeah.
And so anyway, I could go down the
awesome.
road, but it's
awesome.
that it's important. Yeah. So to answer your question in an extremely long version,
Yeah.
regularly. And because of that is one of the reasons I continue to do what I do. People in the post-COVID world are so without hope at so many levels. It's, why does it have to be cold business? I need this, blah, blah, blah. Business language is cold. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. It's like, hey, this is where I'm at, bro. It's make or break if we can this. Hey, this is where I'm at. I'm stepping into the world, bro. Here, this is help. Oh my gosh, dude, you just saved my job. I can work my guys this week. Thank you so much. That's the business I want to be in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my margins are not quite enough, so I'm sorry your volume wasn't where it needs to be. And
Yeah.
Have a great life.
Yeah, that's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Well, nickel and diming people when they're broken. It's, I mean, to me, it's like the story of Ebenezer Scrooge from Christmas Carol. Like, that story is not about he didn't have enough money. The story was about he had no empathy with his money. He didn't stop being a businessman. He didn't even stop doing what he was doing. He just changed how he did it and had this revelation moment. Have you ever heard of? I was in a class yesterday. It was Mental Health 101. And my buddy did it. He did an incredible job. You ever heard of the 988 number? You know what that is? So 988, it's like 911, except it's
988.
988. And I believe it's 988 or 981.
Mental health crisis?
It is a mental health crisis. And it's specifically, hey, I'm putting this in. And when that number gets sent through, it sends you straight to a clinical person going, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
Helping people talk through panic attacks, helping people talk through stuff. So
It's awesome.
the statistics on that kind of blew my mind, and it leans into what you're talking about. Before COVID, the statistics on it were 17% of people knew what it was, and like 7% used it. And then post-COVID, 70% of people knew what it was.
I don't doubt it.
And 40% of people used
I
it.
do not doubt it.
And it's just one of those like, oh wow. And
Yeah.
I think what it did is it started showing us our true heart's intent as a country.
Yeah.
Is it really just about money? It's not. Is it really just about policy? It's not. It's about real people in real situations. And then all of a sudden, something gets pulled out, the rug gets pulled out. You're talking about, all of a sudden the coolant goes out. I only have empathy for a contractor going, okay, cool. Hey, I got to replace the coolant on all these units that you're in the process of installing, and it's been delayed, and now you have to find out a whole new way to put into your budget a whole new thing without increasing the cost for the project. That person is probably going, there's no way. And you don't need a cold corporate person to come through and look at those numbers and go, yep, sorry, man, and then fold on that person.
Is what it is.
Right? But those are the things. That's the reality. And that stress leads into that family, which leads into those kids, which leads into more society, which leads into the next thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's all a trickle.
Empathy. Be rescued by empathy. Rescued by businesses with empathy.
To speak to that in an outside way,
Sure.
I was watching a show with my kids last night that we have found fascinating, and that's MrBeast games. To the fans out there.
All right.
Yes.
Love it.
So, spoiler alert, whatever. Sorry, not sorry. But human behavior, right? We're speaking to the coldness and the impact of people. This guy, as much as it's games and there's money, this is like a complete study on human behavior. Just the curveballs that this guy's throwing at. So he puts this pallet of $1 million cash in the middle of this courtyard. There's 10 contestants. They pick a leader, okay? And they say, hey, you guys vote who you're going to put, who do you trust, okay? And then that person picks the next person out of the 10. They don't know what for. They pick their people, okay? Then he says, starting in order 1 to 10, you can walk out to this pile of cash and you can take as much or as little of it as you want and then go back to your room. And whatever's left, the next person can dip into and next dip into. He's like, so technically you could all walk away with $100,000 right now. You're still in the game. This is a bonus round, right? And everybody's like, yeah, we all trust each other. We're top 10 out of thousands of contestants, right? And they're all gaslighting each other and all these things. And like, we can trust each other. That's why I voted you this, yada, yada, homie. First, God bless the number person. First, she's like, I'm going to stick to, they voted me as leader. I'm going to be faithful in that. I'm going to take my 100K. I'm going to go back to my room. I'm like, hat tip. Yeah. Okay.
Cheers.
Next dude comes out. I actually really like this contestant. He's my people. He's got like Rock for Life on his throat, tatted everywhere. You could tell he's been in a band for 20 years. Yeah. Dude looks heck cool. He's like, it's my birthday and the number 223 is important to me. I'm going to take $223,000. I'm going to go back to my room. And you're like, okay, I mean, it's a little more than potentially is fair, but it ain't. He's still leaving like $700K on the table. You know what I mean? For everybody else. So he rolls to his room. Next dude comes out and is like, you know what? I'm going to get mine because no one else is going to do nothing for me.
Oh, bro.
I'll take $650K and I'm going to leave this penance for everyone else.
Oh, my gosh.
Goes back to his room. Okay. Then in turn, they each, the next guy's like, I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to take nothing. And I'll leave the pieces that are left for these other because I know them and they have kids and this will mean something instead of walking out with nothing. So then the next ones go out and they're like, how many of us left? Okay, I'll take a percentage. I'll take a percentage. And everyone else ended up with like $3,000.
Wow.
I say this to say the dude that took all that money is in his room crying, bawling, is completely like, I'm like, dude just got $650K, says all in, all his debt, his mortgage, his credit cards, everything he has that he's responsible for life is $530,000. And then with the $120K, he can get ahead.
Yeah.
Clean slate, right? You'd think that dude would be happy because it's in cash. I mean, they're stacked against his wall. Yeah. And it's all in ones in MrBeast fashion. So it's like freaking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Dude is bawling because he realized he just screwed all these people over. Right? So as much as people are the get yours, get mine, whatever, it ain't about the money, what you're saying.
No.
There's so much more to it, right? Yeah. And then they come out and the guy's like, MrBeast goes, hey, it's talk time, brings everybody out and just lets them just rip into each other. He's like, I have a family. You don't understand. They're like, and so do I. And you didn't give me an opportunity to provide for mine because you're selfish and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right? Then he lets them all go back to their room and sit in there by themselves an entire day. Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody comes out of there just like...
Did they put $650K on suicide watch?
I think there was a 988 number on the wall. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just kidding. But then he lines them up and says, hey, I'm going to tell you what everybody took. Everybody already did the math, but he says, we're going to line you up accordingly to what you took, and this next game is going to be a direct result of that. And then it went into a cliffhanger for the next episode. So it's like, obviously the dudes that dug themselves deep, they're out. And the main prize is $5 million.
Wow.
Cash. And it's sitting there in front of everybody to see. The human behavior is like, it isn't fulfillment in money, right? Even it's like, hey, I won, I lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Myself. I've lost what's important, right?
Well said.
So,
well said.
Anyway.
I love that, man.
MrBeast, I don't know what the end game is, bro. It's just, all the psychologists and human behaviorists are eating this show up because you're watching all these relationships and then them have to completely go sabotage on them and betrayal
human behavior
at high levels to get theirs. I mean, like, hey, pick your bet. We've been studying y'all and we know who your best friends are. You're in that lane. And you can pick your enemy and them, or you can pick these strangers. So you're going to remove your best friend in the game and your enemy at the same time?
Dude, that's...
Or these strangers. I mean, it's crazy. And you watch people just sitting there freaking out like, ah.
Yeah.
And then pull a lever as a train smashes cars like Lamborghinis and crazy.
Awesome.
Anyway. So, American Squid Games. Got it.
It's something else, bro.
Like and he also does a ton behind the scenes. I don't know if you've ever looked up like what MrBeast does. Like he's installed like hundreds of wells all over like Africa, and like it's just
cool.
it's cool to see. Cool to see.
Yeah.
Just
No.
how he's made his money is insane, but what he's doing with it is wild.
Well, and I think, and that goes to the success because he's going to continue. You give, people only know how much you're willing to give. And I always look at, you know, you got to be the servant. You got to be willing to serve, but you also have to choose who you're willing to serve, because you like you were saying, hey, that guy came in here and $600,000 and oh, this is mine. I'm getting mine. He's serving himself, screwing everybody else over. There's repercussions for those things. You have to look at yourself in the mirror every day. And guess what? That thought in the back of your mind going, yeah, I screwed that person over, ain't going to go away. It is not just going to wake up one day and it goes away. No, it's going to stick with you. Yeah. And if you do that 10 times and you look in the mirror and now you see 10 different people that you screwed over. I mean, I try to live in the moral compass of, you know, that's why I stick with the Christian faith in that regard of being like, no, man, you serve others. You got to be willing to sacrifice and love others, but there has to be a boundary to that. And I think that business is starting to understand that more so. And because the more they learn those basic principles, I mean, John Maxwell's books, the leadership books, which went viral in the business, that guy's a Christian guy. Those principles are very simple. And it's about, who are you surrounding yourself with? Who are you willing to serve? How are you leaving people? What are your blind sides to? What are you unaware of that could take you out? Are you protecting yourself and replacing yourself, right? Those are all biblical concepts that were made, and business was like, this guy's got it. And he's like, no, I read the Bible and kind of like understood it differently, right?
Maybe you heard of it.
But I think that we're in a moral awakening. Even the fact that show can come out. Yeah. Right? It used to be, all right, contestants, here's $1 million to see how smart you are. And it was like, you are the weakest link. Goodbye, right? Yeah. Or Deal or No Deal. And they're like, oh, and they're totally playing on them, being like, yeah, man, it's in the kit. And they knew, right? But now you're getting to a point where they're like, no, let's... moral compass, yeah. Let's just see how far you're willing to push your morals, and let's see what you leave behind. And are you willing to live with yourself after making those decisions? I think it's really awesome. And honestly, I've been around CFM. I've done some work for them. I love your guys' business, and I love it because you guys are very human. I've never worked with an organization that's been so human. They're like, oh yeah, man, whatever you need, just let us know. It's just way chill. And that isn't just saying that because you're my brother, right? That is just being absolutely objective. I've worked with lots of different places, and some I will not go back, right? But that kindness is seen in your work. So I just got to say props and kudos, man, to what you do and what you bring and what the CFM brand does. And I think if you guys keep doing that, you're going to be one of the biggest brands very soon, if not already heading that direction. Just with what you're talking about with empathy.
Yeah. It's cool to be a part of it for sure. And company cultures, anybody in business or, I mean, even in church, anything, everywhere has a culture. And if you're not intentional about what you want that culture to be, it takes on its own. Yeah. That's why some guys go work at a certain place and they're like, oh my gosh, everybody talks trash about their boss. Everybody and that rubs, and you can only do so long. But alternatively, when you walk into a place and the receptionist is genuinely, how was your day? Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's because the culture is a safe place that they can be real. And that doesn't happen by accident. It takes investments of time, it takes real relationship, and it takes hard conversations of, hey, this behavior is hey, thank you so much for the extra mile. But also, hey, you know, this situation you handled, this is really not okay. Help me understand where you're coming from and what, right? It's healthy. You know, top down, the person in charge kind of sets that tone, or if they neglect that, it takes on its own. Yeah. And so being able to walk into an office and be able to impact someone who's responsible for lots of families' lives in a positive way, it's like the ripple effect. We don't really know. Yeah. And so it's really a privilege to be able to do that and be at a company that understands that. So, and, you know, you win some jobs, you lose some jobs. It's a tight market out there. Everybody's trying to do the best they can. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's business. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, hey, man, I get it. Hey, I love the guys. Not personal. Yeah, I love the guys that call me like, hey, bro, I'm so sorry. I can't sell American Standard on this one. The homeowner really wants this. I've tried to educate him with this. And And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to go against you. I'm like, hey, bro, you don't owe me an
Those phone calls are the
explanation.
best.
Yeah.
Bro, you
That's everything.
yeah, it's like, hey, don't ever worry about me coming to your shop going, bro, what brand is that, you cheater?
Yeah.
Okay, come on, man. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, we all got to put food on the table.
Correct.
I ain't tripping
Yeah.
like that,
but
man.
But
You know what
what's
I
cool
mean?
is when people like that will show their heart.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to call you. They
Correct.
just not gotten the bid and then just
Correct.
wondered what happened. But those people are the best.
Yeah, makes it worthwhile. So, I mean, we could talk work all day. You know. It's like,
So let's say I'm a contractor in the Yuba Sutter area, Northern California, within your territory, and I'd like to get a hold of you. What's a way they can contact you, or a CFM? What's a way they can do that?
I'm going to do email
Do it.
just because I know we're talking about personal connect.
Sure.
If you want to reach out, let's start there. Send me your contact information. I don't want to blast my phone out there. It already rings a lot.
Yep.
So, James Steele, JamesSteele at CFMEQUIP.com. James Steele at CFMequip.com.
Beautiful.
Shoot me an email, just, hey, I heard you on the show, want to chat about this, or I have a business, I could, need some advice, or what can you do on this? Let's start the conversation. And, I'm fully aware in business, anytime you start working with a new vendor, you start working with new things, there's always some risk involved because you have your own clients you're trying to protect and you don't want to invest time and money and resources. I get that. Totally get that. So we're easy.
I
Let's
love it.
just start with a
Conversation.
cup of coffee.
Yep.
Yeah.
A cup of Steel House coffee.
Oh.
Quick
Yeah.
plug. Quick plug.
Yeah, some
Guatemalan. All right.
Yeah, and if you go, hey, can we meet at a Charbucks to talk? I'll be like, oh yeah, Steelhouse is
Yeah,
over here off
Steelhouse,
Plymouth. Let's
it
have a
is.
conversation.
Come on,
Absolutely, man. Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for coming on and thanks for talking.
Thanks for being on, man.
You guys are awesome, man. Thanks for your time, and I really do appreciate what you do and the opportunity to just be real.
Appreciate it, brother.
Absolutely, man.
Awesome.
Cut. Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.